Good evening, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Focus shifts to Angola from Switzerland after refined peace framework by US and Ukraine in Geneva. EU leaders hold informal meeting in capital Luanda. Amid rising tensions with China, Japan steadily advancing preparations to deploy medium-range surface-to-air guided missile unit at Camp Yonaguni. Veteran actor Dharmendra passes away. Condolences pour in for the Bollywood icon. President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pay tributes. EU leaders met informally with African Union in Luanda on Monday to discuss efforts towards peace talks on Ukraine. The meeting came as US and Ukraine held negotiations in Switzerland to revise a controversial 28-point US peace proposal that Kiev and several European nations viewed as favoring Moscow. After the first day of talks in Geneva, Washington and Kiev announced they had created a refined peace framework, though details were not disclosed. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Monday that Kiev would continue to work with its partners on compromises on US peace proposals to strengthen, not weaken, Ukraine. Speaking via video link at Crimean Platform Summit being held in Sweden, Zelensky said Russia must pay for the conflict in Ukraine and that a decision on using frozen Russian assets was crucial. And meanwhile, US President Donald Trump commented on Truth Social, cautioning skepticism about reports of major progress in Russia-Ukraine peace talks, suggesting something good might be developing, ending his message with "God bless America." Meanwhile, Kremlin said on Monday it would wait to see how talks between the United States and Ukraine on a potential peace plan pans out before commenting. The discussions held in Geneva on Sunday involved a refined peace framework following criticism of an earlier 28-point plan. Russian President Vladimir Putin indicated that US proposals could form a basis for resolving the conflict, but warned that Russian forces could advance if Kiev rejected the plan. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov emphasized Russia had not received any official outcomes and was monitoring media reports cautiously. President of the European Union Ursula von der Leyen opened the EU-African Union Summit in Angola's capital on Monday with major investment pledges across key sectors of the African economy. Addressing delegates in Luanda, von der Leyen said Europe remains Africa's largest trading partner and is committed to increasing the investment on the continent by 150 billion euros by 2027.
It's our last summit indeed in 2022. The global environment has become harsher, but the relationship between Africa and Europe has only grown closer. Europe is Africa's largest trading partner. 1/3 of Africa's total trade is with Europe, and we are Africa's largest investor with 240 billion euros in 2023 alone. And at this summit, we're boosting our support. The African Development Bank says that a true single market here could increase continental income $450 billion in total. That means massive opportunities for Africa and for the world.
European Union leaders met on the sidelines of summit in Luanda to discuss possible pathways to peace in Ukraine. The informal gathering comes as United States and Ukraine continue negotiations in Switzerland on a modified peace proposal after both sides agreed to revise an earlier US plan that Kiev and its European partners had rejected as too favorable to Moscow. In other news, Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, launched by US President Trump and initially led by Elon Musk, has quietly disbanded with 8 months left on its official mandate. Director, Office of Personnel Management, said that the department doesn't exist when asked about DOGE's status. He added that the agency is no longer a centralized entity. Many of DOGE's functions have now been absorbed by the management, which oversees federal workforce management. The agency, set up in January, made dramatic forays across Washington in the early months of Trump's second term to rapidly shrink federal agencies, cut their budgets, or redirect their work to Trump's priorities. The Trump administration officials have not openly said that DOGE no longer exists, even after Musk's public feud with Trump in May this year. Musk had since left Washington. Republican-led states, including Idaho and Florida, meanwhile, are creating local entities similar to DOGE. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi said on Sunday that she did not meet Chinese Premier Li Qiang during the G20, but emphasized that her country was open to various forms of dialogue with China. A diplomatic spat between China and Japan has intensified since Prime Minister Takaichi told Parliament on November 7th that any Chinese attack on Taiwan could trigger a military response from Tokyo.
Since there are issues and challenges between Japan and China, I believe we should reduce them and increase understanding and cooperation. Japan remains open to various forms of dialogue with China. We have not closed any doors. It is important that within this context, Japan insists its positions where necessary. We will continue to respond appropriately based on this stance.
Japanese Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi told reporters in Yonaguni that the country is steadily advancing preparations to deploy a medium-range surface-to-air missile unit at Camp Yonaguni. The move comes as tensions with China continue to escalate. Koizumi stressed that the deployment will reduce the possibility of armed attacks against Japan and that he believes it will not heighten regional tensions. The remarks came just days after Japan scrambled fighter jets after China flew a drone between Taiwan and Japan's westernmost island of Yonaguni.
The medium-range surface-to-air guided missile unit planned for deployment at Camp Yonaguni is force dedicated to protect the island's security. We believe its deployment will reduce very possibility of armed attack against our nation and do not consider the argument that it will heighten regional tension to be accurate.
European Union ministers are looking to urge top US trade officials on Monday to cut US tariffs on EU steel and remove them from EU goods. US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer will meet EU ministers responsible for trade on their first trips to Brussels since taking office. The EU ministers plan to discuss pressing trade issues, including Chinese rare earth and chip exports restrictions.
Recognize that more work lies ahead, especially on steels and derivatives, where we seek both to reduce tariff and to confront global overcapacity together. And this is a priority area for the EU, as recently demonstrated by the adoption of our steel regulation to help restore balance to the EU steel market. And finally, we discussed the forward-looking agenda, including critical minerals, where we share the goal of securing reliable supplies while strengthening our respective industrial base.
Speaking at Sindhi Samaj Sammelan in New Delhi on Sunday, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that borders can change and that Sindh could one day return to India. He also underscored the deep cultural significance of the Sindh region in Indian civilization.
मेरे बहनों भाइयों, यह भारत का हिस्सा भले ही न हो, लेकिन सभ्यतागत रूप से सिंध हमेशा भारत का हिस्सा रहेगा। और जहां तक जमीन की बात है, तो बॉर्डर्स तो बदल सकते हैं, क्या पता कल को सिंध भारत में फिर से वापस आ जाए। सिंध के हमारे लोग जिन्होंने सिंधु नदी को पवित्र माना है, हमेशा हमारे वो अपने रहेंगे, वो चाहे कहीं भी हों, हमेशा अपने रहेंगे।
November 24th marks the annual Shahidi Divas or Martyrdom Day of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth Guru of the Sikhs, observed across India in reverence of his supreme sacrifice for religious freedom and human dignity. Here's a report on his life and legacy.
Guru Tegh Bahadur, born in 1621, became the ninth Sikh Guru in the year 1664. At a time of rising religious persecution under the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, he stood firmly for the rights of all communities, especially the Kashmiri Pandits who approached him for protection. His refusal to convert led to his arrest and execution in Delhi in 1675. This supreme sacrifice, now honoured as Shahidi Divas. Revered as Hind Di Chadar, Guru Tegh Bahadur is remembered for defending freedom of belief. His teachings, including hymns preserved in the Guru Granth Sahib, emphasizes courage, moral clarity and compassion. Gurdwara Sheeshganj Sahib in Delhi marks the exact site of his martyrdom and remains the center of national remembrance. This year carries added significance as communities mark the 350th anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur's martyrdom. In Delhi, the government has declared 25th of November as a public holiday. Across Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, Gurdwaras have scheduled special kirtans, prayers and community service program to honor the Guru's ideals. Leaders across faiths say Guru Tegh Bahadur's sacrifice stand as a reminder of India's commitment to pluralism. His legacy inspires conversations on interfaith harmony, resistance against injustice and protection of fundamental freedom. As the nation observes this solemn day, communities unite in paying tribute to a martyr whose message remains timeless. Bureau Report, DD India.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Indian Navy commissions INS Mahe at a ceremony at Naval Dockyard, Mumbai. Bhutan Prime Minister thanks Prime Minister Modi for sending sacred Buddhist relics to Bhutan. Ayodhya gears up for flag hoisting ceremony. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. India's Minister for Minority Affairs, Parliamentary Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, who is on a two-day visit to Thimphu, Bhutan, to accompany Lord Buddha's holy relics back to India, met Prime Minister of Bhutan on Monday. In a deeply cordial introduction, Bhutanese Prime Minister expressed heartfelt gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Government of India for sending the sacred relics to Bhutan for extending their public exposition. Bhutan Prime Minister also described PM Modi as his mentor, underscoring the personal warmth and trust that define the special relationship between the two nations. Minister Rijiju said Government of India is pleased to witness the profound reverence Bhutanese people have shown towards the relics, which motivated the extension of the exposition. During the meeting, Rijiju and Bhutanese Prime Minister jointly released a special booklet featuring 23 significant sites in India associated with Guru Rinpoche, reaffirming the deep spiritual and cultural bonds that connect India and Bhutan. Rijiju, along with Prime Minister of Bhutan, also visited the Parliament of Bhutan. In a major boost to India's coastal security and indigenous defence capabilities, the Navy today commissioned INS Mahe, the first vessel of the Mahe-class anti-submarine warfare shallow watercraft. Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi commissioned INS Mahe at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai. It is for the first time that Army Chief has commissioned the INS ship. We get you details of Mahe's strengths in this report.
A giant leap for the Indian Navy indeed. INS Mahe, the first vessel of the Mahe-class anti-submarine warfare shallow water craft, was commissioned today. The ceremony at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai marked a significant step forward in India's Prasar Bharati initiative. Sleek, compact and bristling with advanced sensors, INS Mahe officially joined the Indian Navy today. Built by Cochin Shipyard Limited in Kochi, the warship is the first of the Mahe class, India's newest generation of shallow water anti-submarine combatants. Designed for operations in coastal and shallow waters, Mahe brings together stealth, speed and high-end anti-submarine warfare capabilities, making it a critical asset for protecting India's maritime approaches.
We are capable of operating next to the coast as well as in open sea. The limitation of bigger ships was there that because of the depth, draft of the ship, they cannot operate next to the coast. But with us, there is no limitation. We can operate from shallow waters to deep seas. I can proudly say that all the weapons and sensors which are fitted on board the ship is indigenized. This gives a proud moment for all Indians who are there, because the MSMEs, the DPSUs, the other industries which are supporting all these components and developing the systems for fighting a war against the enemy is up to the high standard now.
At the heart of the ship's mission is its cutting-edge sonar system, the Navy's eyes and ears under the ocean. It can detect submarines, naval mines and hidden underwater threats with remarkable precision, even in the challenging acoustics of the littorals. When a threat is detected, Mahe is ready to strike. The ship features an IRL anti-submarine rocket launcher, 2 triple lightweight torpedo launchers capable of firing 6 torpedoes, and the ability to deploy deadly anti-submarine mines along strategic routes. In addition to this ASW arsenal, the ship also carries a rapid-firing naval surface gun, giving it the ability to counter fast boats, drones and aerial threats during patrol missions.
So if we talk about the stealth features, this ship is capable of having stealth above water and also the below water. If we talk about the Make in India component, the ship is built 80% indigenously.
With over 80% indigenous components, INS Mahe is a symbol of India's growing shipbuilding capability. The ship takes its name from the historic coastal town of Mahe, and its crest features the urumi, the flexible sword of Kalaripattu, signifying agility, precision and lethal grace.
The modern India need these kind of modern technologies and these kind of modern ships, wherein the Indian Navy is quite focused on, and at the same time what is most important from the defense perspective is that how indigenous you are. This particular ship is of course more than 80% of the component of this ship is indigenously built, and that's the reason we can say that now the Indian Navy is future ready. Shilar for DD India, Mumbai.
The Ram Janmabhoomi Temple is a sprawling complex with multiple places of worship with other facilities and attractions. Among its unique features in the temple dedicated to Lord Ram's brother Lakshman, 7 venerated figures like Maharshis and Ma Shabri, who are also from the same era. DD India's Gautam Roy brings us more.
The sacred flag hoisting in Ayodhya will not only signify the completion of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi temple, but the entire temple complex is dotted with places of worship, and one of them, quite unique, is right here in front of us. It's called the Sri Sheshavatar Mandir. It is perhaps one of the few, if not the only, temple dedicated to Lord Lakshman, the younger brother of Lord Ram, who went along when Ram was banished from the kingdom of Lord Dashrath, King Dashrath. He went along with Lord Ram's wife, Sita, and him, although he was not banished himself. And Lakshman is believed to be the incarnation of Sheshnag, Lord Sheshnag, the king of serpents. And this is a temple dedicated to him. And further to the south, there is Sapta Mandir as well, which is about all the people who were there in the time of Lord Ram himself. They were Maharshis, and there were revered figures like Devi Ahilya and Ma Shabri as well, and also We had other people associated with him. There are temples dedicated to them here as well, and they will serve as, well, global attractions for people to again come and visit this temple complex, one of the most revered Hindu places, destinations of worship in the world. With camera person Sunil, this is Gautam Roy in Ayodhya for DD India.
Legendary Hindi film actor Dharmendra has passed away in Mumbai at the age of 89. Over a career spanning 6 decades, the He-Man of Indian cinema appeared in more than 300 films, many of them unforgettable, era-defining hits. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us more in this report.
One of Hindi cinema's most beloved icons, Dharmendra, fondly known as the He-Man of Hindi movies, passed away in Mumbai at the age of 89. The film fraternity and millions of admirers are mourning the loss of an actor whose charm, versatility and screen presence shaped generations of Indian moviegoers. Paying tribute to the late actor, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrote on social media platform X, "The passing of Dharmendra ji marks the end of an era in Indian cinema. He was an iconic film personality, a phenomenal actor who brought charm and depth to every role he played. His diverse performances struck a chord with countless people. Dharmendra ji was equally admired for his simplicity, humility, and warmth. My thoughts are with his family, friends, and innumerable fans. Om Shanti." Born Dharm Singh Deval on December 8, 1935, in Sahnewal in Punjab's Ludhiana district, Dharmendra grew up in a modest household. His journey to cinema began after winning a Filmfare talent hunt. The promised film never materialized, but it brought him to Bombay, where he began his struggle for roles. He made his debut in 1960 with Dil Bhi Tera, Hum Bhi Tere. Over the next 2 decades, he delivered some of Hindi cinema's most memorable performances in Aankhein, Shikar, Aya Sawan Jhoom Ke, Jeevan Mrityu, Mera Gaon Mera Desh, Sita Aur Geeta, and the iconic Sholay. His on-screen chemistry with Meena Kumari and later Hema Malini captivated audiences, with the later pairing evolving into a love story that made headlines across India. In his later years, Dharmendra continued to work across genres, appearing in Apne, the Yamla Pagla Divana series, the second chapter, and Karan Johar's Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani in 2023. He was last seen in the 2024 film Teri Baaton Mein Aisa Uljha Jiya, and was set to appear in Sriram Raghavan's upcoming war drama Ikkis. A recipient of the Filmfare Lifetime Achievement Award in 1997, Dharmendra was honored with the Padma Bhushan in 2012 for his outstanding contribution to Indian cinema. Beyond films, he served as a Member of Parliament from 2004 to 2009, representing Bikaner in Rajasthan. His legacy, spanning 6 decades and hundreds of beloved performances, will continue to inspire generations of film lovers. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
In the film community, grief and shock continue to pour in following the death of respected actor Dharmendra. Several prominent figures from the industry paid tributes. Here's what they had to say.
सबसे पहले तो मैं उनको याद करूंगा, जैसे ही उनका नाम आता है जहन में तो वो फिल्में याद आती हैं शुरू से जो मैं बहुत एडमायर करता हूँ, जैसे कि बिमल रॉय की बंदनी में जो उनका कैरेक्टर था एक डॉक्टर का विथ नूतन, वंडरफुल, यू नो, that innocence, that kind of a romantic hero we didn't have who could project that. और फिर आते हैं उनकी जो दूसरी फिल्में थी, सत्यकाम ने कई लोगों को इंस्पायर किया, उनको निराशा से आशा की तरफ ले गए.
He's been a wonderful artist. जब मुझे अभी पता लगा तो उनकी सारी फिल्में याद आ रही थी. So all we can say is, you know, such is life. Yeah.
I think it's an end of an era because we always remembered him as the He-Man, and then we've grown up watching his films, and he was the first like mass hero, right? We have seen him do great stuff in everything that was thrown at him. He was the real superstar. Anyone who can carry the emotion of, you can be a Superman, and you can be as soft, subtle, and that the beauty that he used to bring into the characters, even in the later years when he has done a fatherly role and these things, and we felt like it was our own like a grandfather or a father or a family member performing. We've seen him both as a larger-than-life character.
We are celebrating 50 years of Sholay here in IFFI this year, and to not to have him at this time, it's feels very sad. And he kept us entertaining. He was the most handsome hero of that time, and we grown up watching his films at homes. And he has done 300 plus films to his name. Like, oh God, look at this number. I don't think so anybody could do this in this generation.
That's all in this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan this QR code on your screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.